Matt Macey, welcome back to Kenilworth Road. It's been a few years, but how does it feel to be back?
Yeah, I'm really excited. When I heard that there was some interest to come back here, I was desperate to come back here. I had such a good time, even though it was very brief last time.
It was very brief. It was eventful. It was a transfer deadline day with a match. It was a match night against Cheltenham. I think we announced you about 10:30, and you'd been sitting watching the game back in the league 2 days. But does it bring back memories as you came in this morning?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, coming into the stadium, things like that. It's not too much has changed. Obviously, 2 divisions higher, so the club as a whole will have changed a lot, and the training ground is different to when I was here before. But yeah, it brings back a lot of memories. I had a lot of fun in that 10-week spell, and I'm looking forward to starting again.
You enjoyed seeing proper buildings at the training ground rather than porter cabins as they used to be anyway. But as you say, the club has come a long way in that time. I take it you've kept an eye on the progress. I know you played against us for Plymouth in that time, haven't you? Yeah,
of course. It's one of those things. I think all footballers will every weekend look out for the scores of their other teams, and just so happens that every time I looked, you guys win. I've been winning the last few years, and obviously coming here with Plymouth, I think we got battered about 5-0 that day. So I've always kept an eye, and I've got friends at the club who have been involved in some of the promotions. So always kept track, and it's great to see how successful it's been here.
We'll come back to those Plymouth games in a minute, but you brought them up. But in your initial spell, you made 13 appearances and then got recalled by Arsenal I think it was to go on the bench in the Champions League game because of injuries to Petr Cech and David Ospina. But you were, at the time, we were flying, and you were doing really well and enjoying it, weren't you? Yeah,
well, luckily I came into a team that was winning, and in and around the playoff area and stuff, in good form and things like that. And obviously coming into a team environment like that, it's quite easy just to go with the rhythm of it, and I think we managed to sort of hold that playoff position throughout my time here, and then obviously you guys held that into the playoffs at the end of the season. But I just remember having probably some of the best 10 weeks of my career in terms of the enjoyment, the culture that was starting to build at the club here. So that was one of the main things that made me want to come back.
And obviously you did come back after your loan spell. You came back to watch the playoff semi-final. That's how much a part of the group you felt, even though you'd had to go back to Arsenal.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was always going to be the case. From the first few days, I felt really settled, and that's credit to the environment that's created at this football club. Good people, good players, and from what I've heard, speaking to people, that's the same now.
So you went off back to Arsenal. You had another loan spell at Plymouth, which you mentioned. You played a full season. Seem to recall a man of the match performance down at Home Park where you kept us out in a goalless draw.
Yeah, it was better than the game here, I think, because I'm sure we lost about 5-0 here, and then I think we managed to scrape a 0-0 against, I think, in the middle of your 19-win run or something like that at the end of that. So that was a good result for us that day. Ultimately, it wasn't enough to keep us up there. So.
But playing that season down there, you'd had short loan spells at Accrington and obviously here, and going and playing a full season at League One level probably gave you the appetite to get out there and play football week in, week out, which you've been doing for the last 18 months up at Hibs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's always been a case during my time at Arsenal or wherever. I've always tried to get out and play, and when I was at a big club, it's not always possible. I was fortunate enough to come here and Accrington and have a full season finally at Plymouth, and then there came a point where it was time to leave Arsenal so that I could have more control over my career, and the opportunity to go to Hibs came up, and that was one that was too good to turn down, really.
You played more than 50 times up there in those 18 months, and so some big games, Scottish Cup final, third in the Premiership, European football. We're getting a more experienced goalkeeper clearly coming back, but how would you say that's helped your development?
Yeah, I think that's clear. I think when I came here before, it was 5 or 6 years ago, I was probably still a boy. I was still learning. I'd only played 4 or 5 professional men's games before I made my debut here. Now I'm coming back with over 100 games under my belt. Like you said, big experiences and in sort of big games and atmospheres up in Scotland, and I just feel like I've grown as a person, as a player from that.
And did the gaffer have to do much persuading to bring you back? I guess you just spoke to Kev Dearden and Kev Pilkington as well.
Yeah, I mean, had a chat and things like that, but like I said, once this one sort of came across the table, it was one that was never really going to be turned down for me. Everyone fits, and like I said, I've always said that I had such a great time here before, so I don't think anything like that's going to change.
And obviously, goalkeeper wise, and you mentioned the 2 goalkeeper coaches there. You've worked with Kev Dearden before. James Shea, you didn't play with him here, but you know him really well from your Arsenal days.
Yeah, we when I first joined Arsenal, he was still there. I think he was doing his last year, and I think he went on to Wimbledon, teams like that. But he's a couple of years older than me, and he really helped me settle and helped me in those first 6 months especially, and he got me into golf, which I'm thankful for.
Getting into golf. There'll be plenty of time out on the course, I'm sure, when he's fit.
Yeah, not at the moment. Yeah.
But you've been in touch with Shea. I know you had a chat with him, and he would have sold the club to you. He joined the summer after you'd gone back, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think he joined that summer I was here, and he rang me up, obviously, to ask what the club was like, and I remember I just said to him, "You've got to sign there. It's the best atmosphere I've ever been in a football club and stuff, and you'll love it." And he came, and he's got 2 promotions under his belt here, and he's done unbelievably. So I think it's worked out brilliantly for him. And likewise, when I rang him a few weeks back and stuff like that, it was sort of as a bit of courtesy, because obviously we're going to be challenging for our positions now. But also he said that it's the same as when I left the club. It's the same culture.
Yeah, and he said to me, he says there's no competition. Well, there is competition between goalkeepers, but you're part of that goalkeepers union, and he said he loves to have a friend here, which you are to him.
Yeah, I think it's just best for the club, really. I've been involved in groups of goalkeepers where you get along, and I've been involved in some where there's a lot of tension between everyone, and ultimately it's about having whoever's playing performing best for the team on the Saturday. And for me, if the goalkeeper group work together and there's respect but there's competition, then performances are so much better than when there's a bit of tension between everyone.
There's Harry Eystead in there as well, who's done really well for us, and in the squad there's not too many left now from your time here. Obviously probably Pelly Ruddock and Dan Potts on the playing side, but there is another familiar face from your early days at Bristol Rovers. Yeah,
Locks from academy, sort of Bristol Rovers under 18. So we had a good side there, and then I made the move to Arsenal before he went on to have a really good professional few years at Bristol Rovers and got promoted a couple of times, I think, and it's a bit of a legend down there. So it'd be good to play with him again. Any
of the other boys that you know, will there be any other familiar faces as you walk in on Friday morning?
I think it's just sort of some of the lads who were still here from before, and obviously staff members and that, but there's always somebody that you think, oh yeah, we come across paths or something, so I'm sure I might see somebody.
And I bet you can't wait to get started now. You've had the long drive back up to Edinburgh, back down with all your stuff, and get back settled in the south.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, I'm familiar with the area. Been here before for a while, so that makes everything easier. And yeah, I had a good time up in Scotland and Edinburgh. It was a great 18 months, but we're back closer to home now, and it should be easy to settle.